Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Two downtown Fargo groups want the city to pass a new law that they say will hold bars accountable for serving drunk people. The ideas surfaced at the Liquor Control Board. As Valley News Team's Joshua Pagaro found out, city leaders question whether this will work.
My main concern is how much is it going to cost? Is it going to solve something that we don't need solving?
City Commissioner Dave Pepcorn, who chairs the Liquor Control Board, is talking about the proposal called Place of Last Drink, or POLD. Its purpose is to create a database that tracks bars that overserve people. Supporters say it's worked in more than a dozen cities in Minnesota, and they believe this law will lead to fewer drunk-related arrests. One of the main arguments for the group supporting POLD is that as it currently stands, an officer has to witness a drunk person being served alcohol in order for a bar to get in trouble. Yes, City Commissioner Tony Garrick says the city already monitors its bars.
Are we following through on the things we're currently on the books? If we're not, let's do that first before we try a new process.
Underage checks were conducted this year at nearly 100 bars and 16 failed.
People drink a lot and then they go out to the bars. We do track the number of police calls to which bar.
The concern, I think, for some people is that we're adding one more layer of bureaucracy, one more layer of information gathering, and who's supposed to gather that? Is it supposed to be a police officer? Do you have to hire people to do that?
No action was taken Wednesday, but conversations will continue on this proposal. In Fargo, Joshua Pagaro, Valley News Live.
Those supporting POLD or POLD tell us that they are optimistic that the proposal will be approved. 4 out of the 5 people charged in connection to a teen's fatal fall from a Bemidji dorm room in September were in court today. They were charged with furnishing alcohol to minors, which police say resulted in 19-year-old Isaac Morris's death. The Beltrami attorney says this hearing was just to charge these individuals with furnishing alcohol to minors, not the facts of what happened the night Morris died. The judge did order them all to appear back in court on January 16th for an omnibus hearing. More melting today, which is good, but will likely leave certain roads, sidewalks, and parking lots slippery tomorrow. And it looks like we're getting some moisture now. Hutch is here to clue us in on tonight's weather. Hutch?
Well, we do have a cold front making its way through the region. Our wind is shifting and becoming more northwesterly, ushering in some cooler air to replace the mild temperatures that we've experienced the last few days. A little band of light snow from Roseau County down into Clay County right now. We did see a few flakes here in the FM area moments ago. Starting to dry up a bit, but it looks breezy as this band of precipitation will push south and east. So some slippery roads will be a possibility first thing in the morning, with all of us starting in the 20s for our Thursday. We do have a chance of some accumulating snow before the big travel time this weekend. I'll have details on that and beyond here in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Hutch. North Dakota's population has grown to an all-time high. The latest number is estimated at just over 760,000 residents. That's up 4,900 from the same time a year ago. The gains since the 2010 census are attributed to the Bakken oil boom. North Dakota stands 47th for most populous states in the country, leading Alaska, Wyoming, and Vermont. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, for the second consecutive year, the state's population has grown as a result of state-to-state migration. Minnesota's population grew by 43,000 between last year and this year, bringing its total to just over 5.6 million residents. The latest numbers from the State Management and Budget Office show North Dakota brought in more tax revenue in November than projected. Last month, the amount was just over $127 million. That's $26 million more than forecast. Big increases were seen in sales tax, gaming tax, and mineral leasing fees. So far, the state is just over 6% better off, bringing in more than $200 million above forecast. 2 Fargo lawmakers say the time is ripe to repeal Sunday business restrictions in North Dakota. Democratic Representative Pam Anderson and Republican Representative Shannon Roars-Jones are sponsoring nearly identical legislation aimed at stripping the nation's strictest so-called blue laws from the books. Critics say Sunday shopping will not keep people from church, and they will hurt businesses, which must now compete with online shopping. The National Conference of State Legislatures says North Dakota is the only state that prohibits shopping on Sunday morning. Facebook is under fire again after the New York Times reported the social media giant shared much more of your personal information with some companies than it has previously admitted. Facebook insists it did nothing without its users' permission. Chris Pallone explains.
Citing 270 pages of internal company documents and interviews with more than 50 people, the New York Times reports Facebook shared far more of your private information with certain companies like Microsoft, Netflix, and Spotify than it has previously admitted. The report says some 150 Facebook partners could read users' private messages, see their friends lists without consent, and obtain contact information.
If a friend of yours had access to your information, and the friend chose to see your information on a different platform, if it's Spotify or other places, then it was okay for Facebook to hand your data over since your friend could already see it.
In a blog post, the social media company denied misleading users and said that most of the partnerships in question have already been shut down. To be clear, none of these partnerships or features gave companies access to information without people's permission, the company wrote, explaining that the sharing was intended to help users do things like recommend a favorite song or movie.
The problem is that you had no idea which companies were getting your information and no opportunity to specifically consent to it or opt out of it.
Facebook partners are distancing themselves from the controversy. In a statement, Netflix said, "At no time did we access people's private messages on Facebook or ask for the ability to do so." More privacy concerns at Facebook, yet another aspect of the social media company some users are finding hard to like.
And so far, there's been no response from the Federal Trade Commission, which reached a settlement with Facebook over privacy complaints back in 2012. The company insists these newly disclosed partnerships do not violate that settlement. If you're heading somewhere for the holidays, police want to make sure that you take a few extra steps to protect your home from burglaries. Now, some of the tips that they're suggesting: making sure your exterior lights are working, including motion-activated ones. On top of that, they say to check all of your windows and doors to make sure they're locked before you leave. And if possible, have the post office hold your mail or have it delivered to a different address. And lastly, ask a friend or neighbor to clear your driveway and sidewalks of snow. Motorists hitting the roadways this holiday season are getting an early Christmas gift. Gas prices continue to fall thanks to falling oil prices. If you're traveling for the holidays or just looking to fill up, Gas Buddy is reporting prices averaging across the Fargo-Moorhead area around $2.15 a gallon. The cheapest we've found is Costco at $1.89 per gallon. It's not every day you get to see a piano. Well, today students at a Bismarck Elementary School got to meet Van Gogh, the miniature horse that not only plays piano but shakes a tambourine and rings bells cued to the music. He visited the school after the students raised more than $600 and voted to donate it to the rescue center. Van Gogh's owner says the money donated will help pay vet bills and take care of the animals on her farm, where animals of all kinds are rescued. Also today, elementary school kids here in Fargo used gingerbread men as their inspiration for a STEM lesson. 20 kindergarten students at Eagles Elementary School paired up with 20 fourth grade buddies. The students formed small teams to design and construct a bridge using unusual materials, including gingerbread men.
I think they're just more excited about their learning and they want to be more involved in it, and it really brings out the critical thinking and the problem solving that they do together.
Throughout December, the kindergarten students have been reading and listening to many storybooks involving the gingerbread man.